Hi, this is Josh from JewishPreppers.com, and we're doing our next segment having to do with prepping, basic overall guide to what you're going to, sort of things that you're going to need. And now we're going to deal with medicines. We're going to deal with some necessities, general necessities that you want to have at hand, and let's just go for it. This was going to be a more general sort of segment. We're also going to deal here with some clothing, and I'm going to take you there first. You want to have, especially if you live in cold climates, all sorts of clothing that would be necessary to keep you warm. Hotties, hand warmers, these kind of things are great. Rain suits, snow suits, having a good snow suit, as well as good boots. These are 2,000 gram insulate suits, and these are something that you should look into. All sorts of clothing that's going to keep you in case of a disaster. We sell actually on JewishPreppers.com. These are tzitzit. These are Jewish law that you have to wear on a four-cornered garment. You have to wear these strings, and we have them even in camouflage colors. Emergency blankets are just some examples. Some knee pads, tactical knee pads and elbow pads. Gloves, very important. Extra pairs of eyeglasses. People don't think about it, but having especially sports glasses, an emergency, glasses break in a disaster situation, you're not going to be running to the doctor or to the optometrist to go find new glasses. You're going to have to make do with what you have, and if you need that as an essential thing to be able to see, you better have some extras lying around. Likewise, I would highly recommend for everybody, we're going to get to the medicines in a second, to have on hand passports. I can't stress this enough. In an emergency situation, you don't want to go out and rely on trying to apply for a passport at that point. You always want to be prepared to have your passport that's not expired, that has plenty of time on it, and is prepared, you have it in a safe place, stored in case you need to get out of Dodge quickly. Likewise, I'm not one of these people that says that we should all take our 401ks and convert it to gold, but I think it would be prudent to have some silver on hand. I'm actually a bigger fan of silver than gold just because I think it's more practical in an emergency situation. Likewise, you should have some money on you. I recommend some currencies from different countries, to have currencies on you just in case you need to have. You never know what kind of things you need to get out of Dodge. Likewise, cigarettes. It could be a comfort item if you smoke, or it could be a very important bartering item. Cigarettes become very, very valuable in a disaster situation where people that are addicted cannot get their fix. I highly recommend having cigarettes on hand. Medicines, again, ABCs. I mean, this is not supposed to be encompass the whole spectrum of what you need for to be medically prepared. I recommend some basic over-the-counter things, both to keep you healthy, normal things like vitamins and toothpaste, as well as some over-the-counter medicines like Tylenol, Imodium, things that are going to keep your chest clear, hydrogen peroxide, rubbing alcohol, Bengay, diaper rash. I'm not going to go into the details of what all these things do, but everything here is essential. Gloves, very important. These are all very important to have around the house, to know how to use them, to have a basic first aid kit, a basic first aid book. If you don't know already, anything about medicine, if you're a layman, you want to keep those at hand. You also want to keep diapers around. If you have small children, make sure you have an ample supply of diapers, an ample supply of toilet paper. Very important. People don't think about it, but that's definitely something you want to have around if necessary. I want to mention also, you want to be able to get around if necessary. You could do that through a GPS, a portable GPS, a map. I know it's hard to find physical maps, but you can find them still in stores, and even topographical maps I would recommend if you know how to use them, and a compass to be able to get around. Other things that I recommend are fire starters. You want to be able to start a fire if necessary, and to do so you can use matches, magnesium flint sticks. These are fire starters. These are all ideas that you want to have just in case out of an emergency situation and you have to start a fire in order to keep warm, in order to make some food, whatever it is, you want to have them on hand. Duct tape. Probably one of the number one things I'd recommend to have in a survival situation. It has so many uses, I won't even begin to use them, to enumerate them right now. But there's lots of tools also that you want to have on hand, and they have multiple purposes, and I would recommend having a shovel on hand. Here's a portable shovel. Here's a Leatherman that has many different tools for different scenarios. Here we have a great knife called the Survival Knife, and it has in it both a fire starter as well as a whistle. I would recommend having a hatchet. There's lots of tools I'd recommend. A funnel, having at hand binoculars. These are all things that I would recommend everybody have and know where to find in an emergency situation. Okay, well, this is Josh Wander, and this is Josh, and I'm from JewishPreppers.com. This is Josh, JewishPreppers.com, and I've given you some idea of different items that you may want to store. Again, this is not all-inclusive. There are so many things that you want to have, and there's so many different scenarios that could come up. I would say that in general, you could be assured that if you have the general preparation for a disaster scenario, you will be prepared for many different disaster scenarios. I wouldn't recommend thinking that there is only going to be a nuclear fallout and therefore you should just stock up on iodine pills. You want to make sure that whatever preparations you make are general, and therefore you will be prepared for any sort of eventuality. And in order to do so, I've given you some of the tools that I recommend that everybody has, and you can expand on it. I think that each of these tools can be a segment in itself on how to use it, and you need to have the know-how, you need to learn how to do these things, and you need to be properly prepared, and that's what we recommend here at JewishPreppers.com. We recommend that everybody be prepared. We recommend food storage, water storage, shelter, heat, power, security, communications, all these things, medicine, all these things put together make a person more secure and make their community more secure. I haven't mentioned it before, but obviously there are a few of us that are actually going to prepare in bulk. And it's incumbent upon us as Jews, as people that are moral, even in a stressful disaster situation, to be able to help not only ourselves and our families, but as much as possible to be able to help our communities. So we have to both, I wouldn't say you have to store all the food for your community, but you have to be prepared and you have to discuss this with your community leaders in the community of what to do on a communal-wide basis if there is a disaster situation, whether it be man-made, natural disaster, whatever the scenario is. You want to have a disaster plan already in order, because once the thing hits, it's going to be very difficult at that point to start to plan. So again, I recommend that you do everything beforehand. Learn as much as you can. We'll continue with other series in order to show different items and different ideas for the Jewish prepper. And I thank you for joining me, and I welcome all your comments. Thank you.